Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anne and this is Anne's Faithful Pages. And today I'm going to do a little bit of a book haul for you. Peppermint mocha, good for this time of the season. All right, so I have a library book haul. My library had a sale and they also have the shelf where if you see books you like, you can take them and just leave them a donation. And I also have a couple that I did at my local bookstore, used bookstore, where you can get credit for giving them books that you have unhauled. So the first author I'd like to talk about is Angela Hunt. These are biblical fiction. Believe this is a duology, The Silent Years. I'm not sure which one is first. I believe it's Judah's wife. To be silent would be to deny their God. To defy would bring the wrath of the king. So this is about a woman named Leah who marries a man named Judah. And of course it's fiction. It's not really Leah or Judah from Genesis. The miraculous story of the courageous Maccabees is told through the eyes of Judah's wife, who learns that love requires courage and sacrifice. And then the second book is called Egypt's Sister. You don't know her name. The world remembers only her greatest friend, Cleopatra. Alrighty. Let's see. Raised together in the Alexandrian palace, Shava, the Hebrew daughter of the royal tutor, and Irbi, an Egyptian princess, become as close as sisters and rivals with their dreams of greatness. All right. So that looks good. That kind of looks like what we imagine Cleopatra to look like. And I also received this book written by Elizabeth Camden called The Spice King. It's the Hope and Glory series, and this is book 1. Gray Delacroix has dedicated his life to building an acclaimed global spice empire, but it has come at a cost. Resolved to salvage his family before they spiral out of control, he returns to his ancestral home for good after years of traveling the world. As a junior botanist for the Smithsonian, Annabelle Larkin has been charged with the impossible task of gaining access to the notoriously private Delacroix plant collection. If she fails, she will be out of a job and the family farm in Kansas will go under. She has no idea that in gaining entrance to the Delacroix world, she will unwittingly step into a web of dangerous political intrigue far beyond her experience. Unable to deny her attraction to the reclusive business tycoon, Annabelle will be forced to choose between her heart and loyalty to her country. Can Gray and Annabelle find a way through the storm of scandal without destroying the family Gray is fighting to save? All right, so that has a little intrigue. It's a Christie and Rita. Elizabeth Camden is a Christie and Rita Award winner. All right, so that should be pretty good. I have here Jocelyn Green, A Refuge Assured. Let's see. Fleeing one revolution to the aftermath of another, she seeks and dreams of peace. And looks like Jocelyn Green was a Christie Award finalist. So that should be an awesome read. Oh, and she lives in Iowa. All right, I bet it's cold right there this time of year in Iowa. Karen Whitmire, she is a popular author right now. She has a series called the Timeless series about a dual timeline. I haven't read it yet. I haven't started it yet. I'm kind of behind the times in there. But this is called No Other Will Do, and I believe it's part of a series, The Ladies of Harper Station. She trusts him for the job, but can she trust him with her heart? Men are optional. That was the credo Emma Chandler's suffragette aunt taught her, and why she established Harper Station, a woman's colony that offers a fresh start to females in need. But when a dangerous and shadowy assailant tries repeatedly to drive the women out, Emma is forced to admit they might need a man after all, one who can fight, and there is only one man she trusts enough to ask. And we shall find out who that man is. That is a very pretty cover. Karen Whitmire. Francine Rivers, popular Christian author, and this is a compilation, or I don't know. There's 5 stories in here about 5 women of the Bible. I don't know if each has been printed separately, but they are in this book. It is stories about Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary, the mother of Jesus. The Lineage of Grace, 5 stories of unlikely women who changed eternity. Francine Rivers is also a very popular author. And Oshina Reads Co. Oshina is having a Francine Rivers yearly Bible read-along. I don't know the exact term she's using, but each month she has picked a certain book of Francine Rivers to read, and then at the end of the month there will be a discussion, and I plan on participating in that, and so we'll go ahead and link all that information in the comments if you would like to participate in that as well. All right, another book. This is a middle grade. This is not Christian, but it's a fairy tale retelling. I believe it's science fiction, fantasy related. It sounds pretty interesting. It is part of a series. I don't know who else is being retold, but it's called The Lunar Chronicles. Cinder wouldn't fit in at a formal ball anyway, even if she did find dress gloves and slippers that could hide her metal monstrosities. Her mousy hair would never hold a curl, and she didn't know the first thing about makeup. She would end up sitting just off the dance floor and making fun of the girls who swooned to get Prince Kai's attention, pretending she wasn't jealous, pretending it didn't bother her. Although she was curious about the food, and the prince did know her now, sort of. He had been kind to her at the market. Perhaps he would ask her to dance, out of politeness, out of chivalry, when he saw her standing alone. The precarious fantasy crashed down around her as quickly as it had begun. It was impossible, not worth thinking about. She was cyborg, and she would never go to the ball. So that sounds interesting. Looking forward to that one. This is written by Siri Mitchell, called Flirtation Walk. Lucinda Pennyworth, the daughter of a con man, is trying her best to leave her father's sordid past behind her. When he dies unexpectedly, she takes the opportunity to move to West Point to live with her aunt, ready to take on a new life and determined to marry a respectable man, a West Point cadet, to impress her relatives. Seth Westcott, a cadet at the academy, is proud to be at the top of his senior class, but when his mother dies and his sister loses their inheritance to a swindler, Seth wants nothing more than to head west to track down the con man. But the Army will only send the cadets at the bottom of the class to the frontier, which leaves Seth with some tough choices. When a woman trying her best to be good meets a man determined to be anything but, can there be hope for love? Or will 2 lonely hearts be condemned to casual flirtation? That sounds cute. All right, Misu Andrews. She is a popular Christian author. I have not read her yet, but I do have these 2 stories. These are standalones. I don't know if Misu Andrews does a series, but this one is called Isaiah's Daughter, a novel of prophets and kings. Whips cracked, soldiers shouted, my feet blistered in a sun-baked wilderness. We kept walking, walking, walking. The Hebrews are a divided nation. Israel in the north, 10 tribes strong, has bowed to pagan worship. In Judah's 2 tribes, an evil king mocks King David's legacy, while a remnant of Yahweh's faithful cling desperately to their one true God. And then we have this one, In the Shadow of Jezebel. In a kingdom controlled by cruel and manipulative women, one princess will discover the power of truth and love. Trained as a priestess in the temple of Baal, Princess Jehosheba strives to please the demanding Queen Athaliah, daughter of Jezebel. But when a mysterious letter from the dead prophet Elijah predicts doom for the royal household, Jehosheba realizes that the dark art she practices reach far beyond the realm of earthly governments. All right, biblical fiction for those 2. Let's see, what else do we have here? Colleen Coble. She is also another popular Christian fiction writer. She does romantic suspense, And this is called Twilight at Blueberry Barrens. It's a Sunset Cove novel. I believe it's number 3, so I will have to get 1 and 2. I need you to keep these girls safe. Kate Mason has devoted herself to caring for her family's blueberry barrens, but after her fields stop producing fruit, she's forced to come up with alternative ways to make a living. Renting out the small cottage on her property seems an obvious choice, but it won't be enough. When entrepreneur Drake Newham shows up looking not only for a place to rent, but also for a nanny for his 2 nieces, it's almost too good to be true. And maybe it is, because Drake brings with him dangerous questions about who might be out to kill his family. All right, so there's some suspense in there. Julie Clayson, she writes historical romance, I believe. And this is called The Secret of Pembroke Park. And I think this is a standalone. I don't think it's part of a series. But it is historical. No, I think it's a standalone. Abigail Foster is the practical daughter. She fears she will end up a spinster, especially as she has little dowry. And the one man she thought might marry her seems to have fallen for her younger, prettier sister. Isn't that the way it always goes? Oh, poor Abigail. Well, we shall read her story and see how she fares in the end. All right, what else do I have? Jan Karen, one of my favorite authors. She wrote the Mitford series. If you've not read that, I wholeheartedly recommend that series to you. It has 15, I think now, books. Maybe more, maybe less, I'm not sure, but this is called Somewhere Safe with Somebody Good. And the Mitford series is about an Episcopalian priest, Father Tim, and he lives in Mitford. It has a map, isn't that so cool? And Mitford is like adjacent to Stars Hollow. It has, the quaint little restaurant where everybody hangs out. It has a bakery, a barber shop, and it's just, the characters are quirky, the storylines are fun, you giggle at times, and it's just a really, really enjoyable series. So it's continuing with Somewhere Safe with Somebody Good. So I will bring more information on that as I read it. And let's see. This one is a little novella that looks perfect for this time of year. Jerry B. Jenkins, I believe he is involved with the Left Behind series, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a novella called Holding Heaven, Eavesdropping on Eternity. Imagine 2 conversations, some 30 years apart, between the most celebrated person in history and his earthly father. In the first, the father tells the infant son the extraordinary details of his birth. God has invaded earth in the most unlikely place and under the most unusual circumstances, he said. In the second exchange, the son talks with his father, now on his deathbed, about what is to come. Not only will miracles turn many from darkness to light, he says, but wicked men will use the materials from his father's occupation against him. And out of that agonizing reality, the world will be changed forever. So this looks like a wonderful novella this time of year. And it shows that there are paintings in here, beautiful painting renderings from a man named Ron Diaciani, I believe. There's one more. Okay, so this is Joseph telling Jesus about his miraculous birth. And then the other picture was Jesus talking to Joseph on his deathbed. That looks really, really nice. I'm going to read that soon for this time of year. It's Christmas after all, the birth of our Savior, Jesus. All right, well, that is just a little bit of the hauls that I have, and I'm hoping that they're going to fulfill some prompts for the 2026 reading challenges that I will partake in, and I will tell all about that in another video. But I do appreciate you coming by to visit, and have a great day. Bye.